Hello and welcome everyone to the latest installation of the live stream series here at All Tech is Human. My name is David Ryan Polgar. I'm going to be one of your co-hosts for today. I'm the founder and director of the nonprofit All Tech is Human. Also pleased to have Rebekah Tweed, my cohort at All Tech is Human. Rebekah, as she'll mention, does a lot around kind of the mentorship program, Responsible Tech Guide, a Responsible Tech Job Board, talent pool, you name it. The theme of today is going to be working in responsible tech. So we just have a lot of resources directly on point. But before I kick it over to Rebekah, I want to thank everyone for being here, whatever time it is from wherever you are tuning in, or if you watch it later on. But let me just give you a little bit of an overview of All Tech is Human in case you're new. If you're new, welcome. And if you are a returning individual who's been part of our Slack group, been at our summits and mixers, been part of our open working groups, been at our other kind of special gatherings, been interviewed for some of our reports. Thank you for doing that as well. All Tech is Human, we're a nonprofit that's committed to strengthening this responsible tech ecosystem so we can better tackle wicked tech and society issues and co-create a tech future that's aligned with the public interest. I know that sounds large, and it is. It is quite large because you know what? The future of tech is intertwined with the future of democracy and the human condition. That's a big deal. Full stop. Let that sink in for a while. And I will say the reason why I have a smile on my face, even though we have large issues to tackle, is because of everyone here. I get the privilege of seeing day in and day out just the passion of all the people who are deeply involved working in this responsible tech field that includes spaces like public interest technology, responsible AI, trust and safety, tech and democracy, and youth tech and well-being. But also, besides the people who are currently in this space, we're surrounded by so many people, just even the sign up for this live stream, so many individuals saying, how do I break in? I'm a career changer. I'm a college student, right? I'm a law student. I'm looking to kind of take my talents and put them towards tackling thorny problems. But how do I do that? What's the education? How do I find mentorship? How do I find growth? What books should I be reading? What podcast should I be listening to at the gym? Right. So that's a lot of what we try to do with all of the resources that we have at All Tech is Human. The kind of key work streams that we have are three parts, right? Multi-stakeholder convening and community building, the multidisciplinary education, and lastly, what we're talking about today, diversifying the traditional tech pipeline with more backgrounds, disciplines, lived experiences, and all different types of perspectives so we can create the tech future that's aligned with our interests. In order to do that, we need to involve more people, more backgrounds, more perspectives and disciplines. So, Rebekah, love to kind of kick it over your direction, especially since today's topic at hand, working in responsible tech, is it's your sweet spot. It's everything that you do tirelessly, day in and day out, around getting new people involved and then also just activating the individuals in this community and then building a better sense of knowledge sharing and collaboration.
Yeah, hi David. So I am Rebekah Tweed, Program Director for All Tech is Human. So thanks for having me today. I have the pleasure of working alongside David to build that responsible tech talent pipeline and to fill the traditional tech pipeline with, as David said, more backgrounds, more disciplines, more lived experiences. So I just want to point out today we have so many tools available for people who are looking for roles in responsible technology. So we do have our responsible tech job board, of course, that features roles that are focused on reducing the harms of technology, diversifying the tech pipeline, and ensuring that tech is aligned with the public interest. So practically speaking, you're going to see roles in ethical AI and responsible AI. So those are typically within big tech, as well as a growing number of other industries, plus startups and global consultancies. We also feature online safety and trust and safety roles. So these are our jobs within social media companies, including many startups. We have tech policy roles, and this includes things like data privacy and digital governance. And we include civic tech and public interest technology roles. So typically tech jobs within government, as well as social impact opportunities. We have a lot of these with nonprofits, think tanks, philanthropic organizations, and many others. And we also include accessible and human-centered design. So these could be product roles, user experience design, or UX research. So please check these out on our website. And we have some of these organizations here today to share some of the open roles that they have. So in addition to the job board, we do have a responsible tech talent matchmaking service. So this connects hiring managers with responsible tech talent from within the All Tech is Human community into some of these hard to place roles. And we are preparing to really ramp up this program in the coming months. So if you have not joined our responsible tech talent pool yet, which is All Tech is Human community members who are either actively seeking or passively open to new opportunities, please do that. That's also on our website. We have a mentorship program, as David mentioned. We have a new cohort starting up in May, so keep an eye out for that. We have it's a wait list that you can join to get notified when we open up those applications. And we have a newly launched university network. And then we just announced yesterday a couple of in-person responsible tech career-focused mixers. These will be this spring for job seekers in New York City. So these will be mixers. The first one is for those looking to break into responsible tech. That'll be on April 26th. We also have a responsible tech career night for folks with experience looking for new roles in the field on May 31st. Both of these are at BetaWorks. So yes, we wanted to host this live stream today to help shed some light on current job openings in responsible tech. So unfortunately, one trend we are continuing to see is layoffs in the tech sector. The silver lining there is that there are lots of responsible tech and social impact roles available in the nonprofit and government sectors, as well as with startups and B corporations. And this is a great opportunity to make a difference on the social impact side or in the public sector, if that's something you've been thinking about. So we do have some great special guests today who are going to talk about some of the available opportunities. So I'm really excited to hear from them.
All right. Well, that was well said, Rebekah. I know we've got a lot on the agenda, so we will get started with that. But we'll also want to mention that we're widely available, Rebekah, myself, the rest of the team at All Tech is Human. We're based in New York City, but we have a global lens and a global audience. We also do gatherings in many other places throughout the United States. And then we have our first summit coming up in the UK on the 18th of April at the Shard. For 250 people. And then we're looking elsewhere in Europe and beyond. So if you have ideas, do reach out to us. But our first special guest is going to be Franchesca, who we're going to bring on. So Rebekah, I'm just going to take you off and then we'll bring on Franchesca. Hello, hello.
Hi, David. Thank you. And hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, maybe good evening. My name is Franchesca Rybar. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Business Operations Manager at Exegy, which is EXGY. Hopefully you can see that in my title. So Exegy is a digital innovation studio on a mission to build resilient and healthy communities. As a certified B Corp, we enable impact-focused organizations to rethink experiences and create digital products that solve their problems and delight users. Our current projects primarily hit on issue areas such as social justice, health, civic innovation, and affordable housing to make a difference in those spaces. Tech for Good is such a fantastic space to be included in, so thank you, Rebekah, for the invitation. I don't typically manage recruiting efforts, but Exegy is so busy because we are rapidly expanding. We'll be hiring roles all year long, so be sure to subscribe to our newsletter or follow us on LinkedIn so that you can stay informed. I'll take my time now to speak briefly on a couple of our current open roles. So we're currently looking for a senior product designer to work on the delivery of client work by conducting accessible and equitable user research and tests. On top of UX solutions, this role will also create or collaborate with UI designers to create production-ready mockups and visual assets following the research phase. We're also looking for a front-end engineer to join our ongoing project Bloom, which is an affordable housing platform. This role should have at least 1 year experience with any JavaScript framework such as React, Angular, or Vue, and will be willing to work between frameworks. Lastly, we're hiring a senior full stack engineer to join our new project Civiform, which has a mission to ensure every American's basic social needs are met. This role will drive forward an open source project written in Java utilizing the Play framework. Not to brag, but Exegy is in the Real Leaders 2023 list of top impact companies. And we just announced today that we are the recipient of 2 Anthem Awards for our work this past year. We're not only committed to our client work, but also committed to our employees, and we have some amazing benefits. We are a fully remote company, and sticking to our mission, we believe healthcare is a right everybody should have and cover 100% of the basic level of health, dental, and vision benefits. We're closed for several holidays, the week between Christmas and New Year's. We also have unlimited PTO. We have annual company-wide retreats, department-level retreats, and a budget for individual travel to co-work to really make sure that our team is strong and connected. And our benefits are ever evolving, and we're always listening to our team. So once again, I just want to encourage you to give Exegy a follow on LinkedIn to keep in touch with our awesome work and other upcoming roles. And thanks again for having me.
All right. Well, Franchesca, thank you. And I will mention too, it sounds like some fabulous positions are open there. We're going to have all of these on our Responsible Tech job board. And then for anyone else kind of listening, if you ever have any jobs you see, do flag us there. And then on our Slack, a lot of people share jobs as well. So Franchesca, thank you for coming on. And now we're going to bring up Susannah. Always a lot of fun here at All Tech is Human, right? We're back and forth with all these great guests. So again, really appreciate everyone for tuning in today. Up next in our wild kind of telethon of a live stream, we have Susannah from Credo AI. You might be really familiar with their recent Responsible AI Summit that they had a few months back.
Thanks so much, Dave. Hello, great to see you. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for organizing this, David and Rebecca. This is really fantastic. So great to virtually meet everybody. I'm Susannah Shattuck. I'm head of product at a company called Credo AI. We are a venture-backed startup focused on operationalizing responsible AI for our customers. Effectively, what that means is that we help our customers ensure that they are building, buying, and using AI/ML responsibly, which these days certainly seems top of mind for almost everybody in the world, at least judging from my LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook feeds, everybody playing around with ChatGPT and some of the incredible technologies that have come out in the last 6 months. Makes it all the more clear that the work that needs to be done to ensure that AI systems are developed and used in a way that minimizes risk and harm to humans and to society is absolutely critical. And so that's the work that we do at Credo. We build an AI governance platform that our customers use to evaluate their AI systems and ensure that they are fair, transparent, accountable, performant, robust, secure, privacy preserving, all of the good things that are top of mind, not only for our customers, but also for regulators. We look very closely at things that are happening like the EU AI Act, and we have a full-time policy team that's focused on understanding and also helping to shape the AI regulatory landscape. So what are we hiring for? We have 2 open roles at the moment. One is a role that I'm actually hiring for on the product team. We're looking to bring on our first product marketing manager, who's going to be a member of the product team focused on helping us better communicate the value propositions of our product to our customers, and also to really deeply understand insights about the different segments that we're interacting with, the different types of customers and their core needs, and bringing that back to the product team to help us prioritize our product roadmap. So we're looking for somebody who does have experience with product marketing, somebody who's a little bit further along in their career, who's a fantastic communicator, and ideally who has a lot of passion for this problem that we're solving on responsible AI. That's the first role we're hiring for. The second role we're hiring for is a sales engineer, somebody who's going to join our sales team and help to really effectively demo and show our product to prospects during sales calls. We are a B2B company, and so we have a B2B sales process that is usually pretty high touch. And this sales engineer is really going to be the technical go-to resource on our sales team for helping to facilitate those conversations and move prospects along in our sales funnel. So a little bit more about Credo AI in case you're curious about what it might be like to work at the company. We are also a fully remote company. I'm normally based in New York City, but we have team members that are all over the world, and I'm actually fully enjoying the benefits of working for a remote company by working from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil for about 2 months. So calling in from Rio today. We also have some fantastic benefits. And if you go to our jobs page, credo.ai/jobs, you can see that under each job posting, we list out both our values as an organization, as well as the benefits that you'll get from working with us. And the last thing I'll say is that we are an incredibly mission-driven organization. And I know a lot of startups say that, but truly I've never worked at a place where people are so passionate about the problem that we're solving, that the work doesn't just feel like work. It really feels like we're a team that's very actively pushing against a problem that all of us care incredibly deeply about, ensuring that AI systems can be really in service of humanity and benefit everyone. So with that, I'll cede my time, but thanks again for inviting me to participate. And again, you can visit credo.ai/jobs to see more information about both of the roles that I just spoke about today.
Susannah, really appreciate your time, and well said in the very beginning too around ChatGPT. I think that was one of those kind of flashpoints like Tay from Microsoft a few years ago that just brought into focus how important this is and moves it away from the kind of theoretical part that a lot of people in the responsible AI space have been talking about, very similar issues of what would happen in these scenarios. But now coming into focus for OpenAI with ChatGPT, and then others. I know a lot of the larger tech companies are looking at something similar as well. So Susannah, thank you. Okay, now keeping up this fun pace, we are going to bring on M from CivicActions. So really excited to have M involved here. Hello, hello.
Hi, David. Thank you so much for allowing me to join today. Thanks, Rebekah, as well. I'm so excited. Hop on here, share with you about why I love CivicActions and why there could be some really great opportunities for everyone else out there as well. Honestly, I want to lead with that CivicActions is very niche in that it's we are working effortlessly to transform technology in the government. So we are a company that works primarily with federal government departments, and we are trying to make everything more inclusive, more accessible, and more open to the general public. So we work primarily, some of our larger clients are the Department of Veterans Affairs, NSF.gov, the Medicare, Medicaid websites are just a couple of the clients that we work alongside. So when you work at CivicActions, you are having a direct impact on the public, and you're truly making a difference, which is really inspiring. We have a very unique interview process where we are, first connecting with people on a really personal level and seeing what drives them in their career, in their mission in life. And it's why we've cultivated this really incredible environment of a large group of people who are very, very driven to meet these human-centered initiatives so that we are continuing to be at the forefront. So if you are someone who is very mission-driven and who's looking to be a part of a company that is at the forefront of, big challenges that are going to really change things around in the government area, CivicActions is the place for you. You're going to show up to work every day with a lot of purpose in mind. So What I'd like to talk about next is our current openings. So we currently are looking for a program manager, and then we also have several DevOps engineers positions available. So if you have any interest in either of those realms, and we are always looking for Drupal developers as well. We are a Drupal house. We are very passionate about Drupal. So front end, back end, full stack, we are always hiring for those positions. We have a really unique opportunity as well as part of our hiring process where we have a most valuable candidate program. What this does is maybe we don't have a position available for you right now that meets your specific skill set. We actually expedite the interview process for you once it's available. So you can submit your resume now, get rid of, have the interview process up front, learn more about the company. In the meantime, get more involved and invested. And then once we do have available positions there, you're at the forefront of that interview process. We typically have between 1 to 200 applicants per position that we open. So it really gives the benefit, again, of being at that forefront. We are a really exciting place to work. We are definitely making changes here, and we are so excited to connect with anybody else who also has those similar values in life. We have an incredible benefits package as well. We really value our employees. We value, our employees and their families. So we like being able to take care of everybody involved. We offer full benefits, medical, dental, vision for all of our employees, plus our benefits. We have annual technical stipends, annual professional development stipends, and we've actually been remote since our inception in 2004. So we are a fully distributed company. We will be permanently remote. So if you enjoy that remote environment, very flexible scheduling. And I think one of the biggest pinpoints of the CivicActions culture is their value of openness, care, and balance and transparency. So we look at you as, yeah, you have a full-time job, but you also have a full-time life. So I personally have never worked somewhere where I feel like I can do it all. I'm married and I have a family. I also am in the military part-time. And this is the first place I've worked where I'm like, I really can do it all. And the people here support me in doing all, and they care that I can do it all. So if you are someone who's looking for a place that just wants an incredible work culture where you're showing up to work every day with purpose behind it, then CivicActions is for you. Please reach out if you're interested in the company at all. We value every conversation we have. And I look forward to chatting with anyone in the future.
Thank you for all of that, and also kind of sharing some of your experiences at CivicActions around kind of the care for the employees. I know 10 years from now, hopefully we can all, laugh together and say, hey, remember that time we lived through a 3-year-long pandemic? Remember that? So it has certainly brought in self-care and just, how we kind of work together and build consensus and care for one another into focus. So thank you for that. I'm going to just take you off screen, and I'm going to bring on Ravon from New Public. All right, I'm going to bring on Ravon from New Public. We do a lot of great work with New Public. We're collaborating on a new live stream series that's coming up this February 23rd. That is Thursday, around Digital Playground. It's going to be a monthly live stream kind of deep dive series, an hour and a half, where you can really do a lot of sandboxing and collaborate with other people together. So hopefully we can all join together for that. Hello, Ravon. I'm just going to jump off and give you the floor.
All right, thank you. Hi, everybody. So yes, I'm Ravon Ruffin. I am the head of community initiatives at New Public. Thank you, Rebekah and David, for having me today. I'm excited to share more about New Public. We're a nonprofit startup. We're a design tech lab focused on researching, creating, experimenting with design patterns for human scale, public spirited digital social spaces. And so we're very much thinking about the ways that currently patterns exist in centralized commercial social media to drive engagement and capture attention. But we believe that there needs to be patterns that instead center healthy cross-cutting conversations and the needs of plural and heterogeneous voices. And so our goal is to equip the builders and designers of the next generation of digital spaces with an open source playbook of thoughtful design patterns and practices. So I'm here representing my team within our product studio. We have a community lab. And so right now we have 2 roles that we're hiring for: a lead designer who will also serve as the head of our community lab, and then a full stack engineer who will work again within that community lab. And so those are both available at newpublic.org/jobs. And so the community lab is really excited to be thinking about how do we do community-centered, community-first design, whether that is as a sprint, design challenges, and building prototypes. And so our team, like I said, is interested in how do we actually equip engineers and designers with the tools that they need to build healthier digital social spaces. A little bit about the work culture. I am ecstatic to be working with everyone that I do. We are a team of designers and researchers, all with very interesting and interdisciplinary backgrounds, and so writers, artists, and so we're all coming at the digital landscape from very cool and interesting perspectives as urban planners even. And so there's a lot to learn from this team. We're also fully remote. We don't have any brick and mortar spaces, and so we come together as much as possible as a team online or in person for retreats, but again, fully remote. So a lot of what was said earlier of just really wanting to make sure people can have their time with their families and their loved ones. And so if either of those roles don't feel like a good fit for you, we're also just interested in hearing who else is out there, what talent we might not have considered within our work that we do. And so we always are looking for interested folks, whether as research fellows, and again, if there's just other skills that you love to share with our team, we keep an open portal for folks who are interested in collaborating with us. And so again, thank you so much for having me, and I'm available for questions outside of this seminar if folks want to hear more about the New Public culture.
Ravon, thank you for that. And then thank you also for mentioning your availability. I mean, that's what we have to kind of always make clear, right? Is that we're all kind of accessible, and also kind of find, as you mentioned, with New Public, it's such a broad range of interesting backgrounds, and it really gets at the misconception that a lot of people have around working in responsible tech.
Absolutely.
It's not just for your traditional technologists. In fact, when we're thinking about something like digital spaces, we're thinking about game theory and human behavior and design. That's not a CS degree at Stanford, right?
Exactly.
So it's something far beyond that. You want that too, but all the
gotta know how to work with people. So definitely
all about people. And that's where, again, really appreciate your time today, but also partnership generally with New Public, with All Tech is Human. So thank you, Ravon.
Bye.
Okay, our cleanup for today, if you are a baseball fan, now the Super Bowl's over, you can start switching over sports with, I think, spring training going to be starting soon. We have Chanel from the kind of trust and safety team on the council side for Zoom. I'll just give a little bit of context of something that really struck me and stayed with me for months now, where I met Chanel at the Australian Embassy in Washington, D.C. last August. That's when we held an event there around youth, tech, and well-being. I had the privilege of being a moderator, and Chanel was a panelist. And I remember there's so many people in trust and safety who were in that space, and asked Chanel, well, how did you get into trust and safety? And then mentioned kind of the idea of discovering it, right, through All Tech is Human, and that leading into this kind of adventure of pursuing something that's really important. I just want to set that up because a lot of what we see at All Tech is Human kind of reminds me of this Yiddish kind of idea that says, to an earthworm in horseradish, the world is horseradish, right? So you can't know something that you don't know. So a lot of what we're seeing around working in responsible tech is actually making people more aware that might not naturally have been in this space. And that's what's going to cause the ecosystem to be larger, more expansive, and better able to tackle these wicked problems. So I'm going to bring up Chanel to kind of take us home here. So thank you for again, all your participation earlier in August on that panel. So that's why I was thrilled that you were able to come back today. But I'll give you the floor, let you take away, and then talk about your career and kind of your twists and turns and what led you to where you're at today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, David and Rebekah, for hosting this awesome event and also having me speak. It was a pleasure to speak back in August, and very excited to speak again today. So I am a lawyer on the trust and safety team at Zoom, and I, in a broad sense, focus on policy, but in a more specific sense, that means anything from updating or creating new policies for our users, or doing like regulatory compliance kind of work and ensuring that like our products and our operations are compliant with online safety regulations, and then a host of other things. But how I got into this role. So I went to law school. I studied to become a lawyer. I went to Howard University School of Law. And there I focused primarily on civil rights and public interest related issues. So that was anywhere from like criminal justice to environmental justice, to immigration, to education, to housing justice, and all of those issues. And I interned at some places in the government. I also interned at a couple civil rights related nonprofits. And during law school, I know that I wanted to focus on policy as well. So when I left law school, I was seeking jobs where I could combine my policy interests with my interest to do civil rights work as well. So I started at the California Attorney General's office, and there I was a fellow for a year, and I assisted the Attorney General's assistants and advisors with issues such as criminal justice, immigration, environmental justice, and all of that kind of stuff. And it gave me a really great foundation, a really great policy foundation. And I left there interested in doing work in criminal justice policy. So my next job was at a small nonprofit, small think tank, focusing on criminal justice reform policy. And there, I really also honed my policy making skills. So I got to author a bill. I got to speak in front of DC City Council regarding that bill. And while I was there for a year, but I started to kind of think about shifting my career, and wanted to work on a different issue. So I started thinking like, okay, I want to do policy work, but I also want to do work that has a good impact on the world. But what other, like, I guess, subject matter areas could I use this expertise and interest in? So I landed on tech. I've always been kind of like a tech geek, if you will, very interested in like the culture, and like always been interested in like innovation and just the creativity that goes with making new products. So I knew that I wanted to go in the tech industry, but I didn't know like how I could do that. Like, how could I have a good impact on the world, still do policy work, and still make sure that my work is tailored to general civil rights. So I reached out to people in my law school network, and one of those people worked in policy at a big tech company. But the first piece of advice that she gave me was to consult you guys as a responsible tech guide. And there, like, I was able to see people that were doing the kind of work that I wanted to do, and it made it seem possible for me. As David said, like, you know, I had to see it to be able to realize that it was out there. So once I knew that it was out there, I started seeking roles where I could combine the policy, the civil rights, in the tech interests. So upon that, I came across a job posting at Zoom, and they were hiring for a policy counsel on their trust and safety team. And, you know, really took a deep dive in trust and safety issues and the subject matter. And like, after learning about it, I realized that like this was actually like great for me, and right up my alley of where I wanted to be at. So I interviewed with Zoom, and I just want to say, like, I didn't just pick Zoom because, you know, it was an opportunity. I also like looked at nonprofits. I looked at government opportunities as well. But what struck me about Zoom was one, like, I wanted to work on the ground, and like, I actually wanted to work with the product and with the company and be able to have an impact on the inside. Some other things that struck me out, that made me pick Zoom was just looking at like the company's values and seeing like, you know, what was this mission and like what kind of product was it trying to put out into the world? Was it a product that had a bad impact on society, or was it a product that had a good impact on society? And clearly, you know, Zoom had a like awesome impact on society in allowing us to communicate during COVID. So that really struck out to me. Also, I looked at the people that I would be working with, like what were their backgrounds? Did they have, you know, a traditional, like everyone worked at a tech company kind of background, or did they have like backgrounds where it was a little bit more diverse? And one thing that I liked was that my managers, they had both worked in government and also in nonprofit. So that really struck out to me. And then also like thinking about like the users, like what kind of users would the product be impacting? Would it be children? Would it be, you know, adults? Would it be businesses? And I like that, you know, Zoom was a product for everyone. And it, you know, it had a really great impact on society. So I've been very fortunate to you, David, and in this organization to have that responsible tech guide to consult, because to be honest, like if it didn't exist, I wouldn't have been able to see all the amazing work being done out there in this ecosystem. And so very fortunate for that.
Well, thank you. That really does mean quite a lot. I will say one of the reasons why we knew that the Responsible Tech Guide would translate and do well is because we were holding our first kind of ethical tech summits in 2018 and 2019 in New York, San Francisco, and Seattle. And we were always hit with the same questions when people stumbled upon this. They were amazed by saying, wow, there's so many different types of people. It's not just professors, but then there's students and there's artists and activists and lawyers, designers, philosophers, right? We need all parts of the puzzle when technology is affecting the human condition and democracy at large. We need everyone. This is a society issue. But anyhow, your story, Chanel, was really kind of impactful in the sense that we do need to see that there's amazing work out there. You know, I've been involved in the space for a decade now, so it kind of puts me in this kind of interesting perch where you get pinged all the time, where people say, "How do you get into this field?" And oftentimes people feel alone because they don't realize that there's thousands of people across the globe that are moving heaven and earth to try to make a better tech future, and that's important to them. But because we oftentimes don't tie this together, we don't see the significance. We don't see the correlations. We don't see the community that you all can join. That in fact, everyone, you and I included, and everyone who appeared today, the reason why we're motivated is because we need more people. We want to help out. We want to pay knowledge forward. We want to mentor others because we care about where this is going. We care about our future. So Chanel, thank you for everything you shared. And then earlier in August at the Australian Embassy, I know this won't be the last time. So really appreciate your guidance and paying your knowledge forward.
Thank you so much, David.
Okay, I'm just going to bring on Rebekah for our closing. We have a few minutes here. What we're going to do, typically we like to bring on some questions and comments. So if anyone out there has any comments or questions, we'll try to bring them up on screen. I know we're doing a double duty, trying to. Let me see what we have here. Stephanie says, as someone who's been in the marketing communications world, but is trying to break into responsible tech, specifically on the nonprofit or government mis and disinformation side, do you have any tips for getting my name out there? Well, yes, Stephanie, I do. One, thank you for wanting to be deeply involved in this, because it should also be pointed out that this is hard work. And that's why we're running with our kind of tagline of tackling wicked tech and society issues, because these are complex. These are not one dimension. So to your point, and then Rebekah, jump in, any other ideas, comments around this, about getting your name out there. This does come up a lot, is since it is a nascent space, name recognition and relationships is actually incredibly important. You can debate about if that should be important, but at its current moment, relationships are very, very important. Oftentimes it is going to be about, hey, I saw this person on a panel and now I brought them on another panel. And then all of a sudden they're a touring speaker about this issue, and that leads to a consulting gig, and that leads to a full-time gig, right? So that's the way it oftentimes is happening, which is why we do a lot of online and in-person mixers. Also, the other kind of secret sauce of All Tech is Human, which I think a lot of people might not always understand from its surface, is that our working groups now have included nearly 1,000 people since our founding in 2018. It's not just about the report. So last year, right, we had 4 open working groups and 4 reports. If you just look at it in one dimension, you say, well, hey, here's the report. It's good. I read it and I learn. But I say, well, it's also about the very process of developing the report, which is co-creation, which is understanding different backgrounds across the globe. We have a high-low type of strategy that we call a grassroots power model that's going to attract people from elite organizations like the World Economic Forum, Aspen Institute, Harvard Berkman Klein Center, you name it, but then also with a career changer, with a student. And I will point out that is very rare. That doesn't happen. It's very hard in life, and actually it's a pain point that a lot of people have struggled with. The pain point is, how do I get experience if I need experience to get experience? And then you're like, wow, it's a Kafkaesque, and now I'm caught in this endless loop and I can't get out of it, and you're driving yourself up the wall. So a lot of what is needed, to your question, is gaining that experience through, we have a tech stewardship practice program, right? That's a micro credential. That's on, now goes on LinkedIn. Now you're part of a working group. Now your name's there in the working group. That working group leads to collaboration with 150 other people across the globe. Now there's the people you can have coffee with, and then you have coffee with, and then that leads to something else. And now you're part of our Slack, which is almost 5,000 members across 60 countries, building up a larger network. So to that question with Stephanie, and for everyone else, I know it's a very common question. Getting your name out there is important. So that's why we have a significant amount of activities. I know in our newsletter that just went out, we talked about 10 ways to get involved, right? Join a working group, join our Slack, attend a summit, attend a mixer, be part of something, be part of the mentorship program, read the Responsible Tech Guide, read the Responsible Tech Job Board, join our talent pool that now has almost 900 individuals. Rebekah, any other additional thoughts?
I mean, yeah, you covered so much. I do feel like the mentorship program is a really important opportunity. I think it's unique in that we do try to pair people up. There are a lot of career changers and a lot of people who are in one space looking to pivot into another. And so we really do try to honor that and find opportunities to involve someone who's already doing the thing that you would like to do. So yeah, I think the mentorship program is one really important space, but there are very accessible opportunities within the All Tech is Human community that you have a lot of control over, that you can determine how much time you have to give and what opportunities you want to get involved in. And yeah, I mean, like you said, we really just try to make as many opportunities available for people as possible so that you can make your own connections. You can, kind of carve your own path with the people that you connect with and the activities that you involve yourself in.
Rebekah, we're just going to hit one last question, then we're going to close it out, respect everyone's time. So the question from Safa is, it's so interesting, thank you, that you're having multidisciplinary these days. I'm a mom of 3 kids, former R&D engineer, and I'm concerned about the effects of technology on my children and their peers, gaming and social media. And I was wondering if you know of any organizations working in that direction. Why, yes, we do. We don't have plants. These are just common questions, right? The idea of saying, what are the organizations? Similar to, as Chanel was talking about, of the Responsible Tech Guide, of like curating this and saying, here's hundreds of people, right? And just in the last 3 years, we've interviewed over 450 people in our summits and our reports, right? Those are also now hundreds of people who are telling us about their backgrounds, how to get involved. And then we also have a list that's in our guide and all of our reports around organizations directly in that space. So if you go to alltechishuman.org, you'll see hundreds of organizations. Currently, we have over 500 organizations that are focused under the umbrella of responsible tech. And then specifically, what you're talking about with kind of issues around the effects of technology on children, we have specific reports on that topic. One, our report on improving social media is a good one to check out. We also did one on HX standing for human experience, right? And aligning our tech future with this human experience that specifically deals with that. So we list a lot of different organizations such as Common Sense Media, Family Online Safety Institute, Connect Safely, National Association of Media Literacy Education that does a lot in that area. There's a ton. And then we also did a recent event around youth tech and wellbeing, one at the Australian Embassy. Well, Australia does a ton on this issue. If you check out the eSafety group, we've had eSafety Commissioner Julianne Grant on multiple times and spoke at our event last May, which was specifically on improving digital spaces, which deals a lot in that topic. And then in the pipeline, we have a lot on youth tech wellbeing. Rebekah, you are ready to go.
No, I'm excited because we.
So am I. We're caffeinated or something.
Yeah, we are. So we just released some knowledge hubs as well, and one of those focuses on youth tech and well-being. So if you go to alltechishuman.org, you will see a drop-down menu under knowledge hubs that says youth tech and well-being, and we have many organizations listed, some of which deal directly with this issue of screen time, gaming, and kids' well-being while they are online. So please check that out.
Yes, check out our knowledge hub, as Rebekah talked about. We're always adding to that, and we're also seeking out additions. Really, the way we're able to do what we do is because we have thousands of people across the globe that are constantly pinging us with white papers and resources and podcasts. And then our role is oftentimes as the kind of connective tissue and then curate this information that works like a flywheel, where we are informing the overall ecosystem, which is then expanding and then hyper-connected and then informing it back. And that works in a cyclical fashion. And then everything becomes smarter. And then we as individuals hopefully become smarter, but also more connected. And then I do want to point out, mentioning in the commentary there, as a mom of three, I will mention that everyone seems to have their kind of journey story, like a moment that usually brings these issues into focus to say, wait a minute, this is big. This is important. This is something that I need to dedicate time and focus. And this is something I want to get involved. And a lot of what we're trying to do here at All Tech is Human is to allow you to quote Douglas Rushkoff from Team Human, to find the others, to find that there is a active community and that it's a helpful community, and that your voice is not only welcome, but also needed. So Rebekah, thank you for being co-host today. Again, we're all discoverable, and do ping us and ping others at the All Tech is Human team. Join our Slack. Come say hello if you're in New York, and we're traveling around everywhere we can go. So if you have ideas, do ping us. So thank you all, and we'll be back again with additional live streams. So any ideas you have, also ping us. Thank you.